The technical name is called a zeroid test, kind of a Star Wars-y type idea. But what's happening there, Carla, is over 12,000 different biological frequencies are being presented to the body electric. There's going to be a response to that in very fast nanosecond biological speed times, and then the computer is going to calculate for us and prioritize those reactions. Here's the case from this morning. Now, this is the most reactive thing, the most next reactive thing, et cetera, et cetera. So, for instance, now, in your ballgame of nutritional consulting, if you knew that this person's bowel flora was upset by funguses, that would be a very key issue for you. Let's say if you wanted to look at some of the allergy issues in this person, you could go to that matrix and you could say, well, gee, now, yes, there's some pollen issues, but possibly, ma'am, or whoever you're testing, are you taking too much or too little lemon, etc.? Are you eating too much corn? You're allergic to it, by the way, and corn sugars breed funguses, blah, blah, blah. So you'd be able to do a printout of this for them regarding foods to avoid and or rotate, but you'd also be getting at the cause of the situation, Carla, by knowing what is going on in the gut. And here's the key right here. Obviously, they're also reactive to GM genetically modified food. So right here, these three little reactivities would be extremely valuable to you as a nutritionist and a consultant. So just an example of a real-time test this morning. Now,
okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Very good there. Yeah, so in other words, now the computer, and now you have literally during this 3 to 5 minute test, however long it takes, people are different, they test anywhere from about 3 to 5 minutes. The idea would be for you not only to get up, stretch your legs, go get some water, you get up and leave the room. There's no way in heck that you can interfere with that extremely vital process that's going on during what we call the zeroid test. So
and
now,
it only takes 5 minutes to come up with the data capture?
Exactly, because here's what's going on. The body electric can respond to these things in 1/2000th to 1/2500th of a second. So if you take 12,000 things and do this test, now everybody tests at a different rate because some people are a little slower on the draw, some people are very hyperreactive, etc. So anywhere from 3.5 to 5 minutes, boom, you have got this top 40 reactions. Now there's other things in here too. This is an adrenal patient, Carla. So obviously they're going to have a little more sensitivity to things. So now here's another exciting thing. When you go over to the risk profile, this would be the next step that you do. You're going to calculate here what the highest risk is. Well, look right here. Adrenals, fungus, and stress. Now you can also go down to digestion. You can go down to food poisoning, anything that relates to you can go down to allergies, your ball game, your expertise, etc. Now we know, as you know, 70% of your immune system is in your gut. Food is your best medicine, etc. One of the key issues in this whole ball game is to prepare the GI tract to break down, assimilate, and eliminate foods better. Now this might interest you too. Let's go over to the SAR code page, how you might use this just as a quick example. Okay, now if we go into the SAR code page, these are the organ pages, I would say, in your terms, we can see what is going on in the digestive exocrine alimentary system. Now, normally, Carla, the scores should be between 80 and 100 to be ideal. Well, now here we have stress in the autonomic nervous system. The parotid glands probably aren't working so well. There's food reactivities. Stomach is a little weak. Gallbladder and liver are doing great. And then possibly some kind of slight weakness in small and large intestine. So in other words, you'd know exactly where to go to start detoxification and rebuilding of that GI tract tissue. Well, now what are those stones in the shoe and nails in the tire? Well, here they are. You're going to find out quickly what is jamming up the gut tissue. In this case, Carla, food additives and insecticides, and again, possibly a small amount of radiation, most likely from the lifestyle we all live these days. Now, these are actually homeopathic formulas Professor Nelson developed many years ago to help detoxify people, and especially in this case now, this would apply directly to nutritional counseling. If you've got food additives and insecticides jamming up the cell walls in the gut, well, any nutrition that Carla recommends isn't going to work so well. Also, if we don't get rid of candidas and things like that out of the gut, what good is nutrition? So that would be a valuable precursor step for you, let's say, to know these kind of things about doing a case of nutritional counseling or any of your group that's interested in this technology. So that's an example. Now, these are all high reactivities to issues. Now, notice that there's not so much issue with amoebas, bacterias, prions, protozoas, virus, worms, etc. Possibly some sugar toxicity. But again, what does sugar do? It feeds fungus. So if you knew just that about this patient and did nothing more, you would be in stardom with your friends and patients and clients, etc. Very, very important because, Carla, what we do best in this ballgame, dear, is we find the cause of disease, and then we will go on to rebuild organ systems that need support. So in this case now, we have a formula that addresses every organ in the gut. You might want to use it in the future, who knows. But again, we don't just find the stone in the shoe and detoxify the person. We find it very valuable to then rebuild that area. And last but not least, now, as a nutrition expert, we go to the nutrition profile, we calculate that data, and we go in and we find out, well, gee, what's going on here? Well, the key issue in this person's case is a lack of lipase. The pancreas is not making lipase. Again, the remedy I suggested earlier, called propepsia, rebuilds the pancreas, but also gives lipase too. Liquid form, of course. So here again is a way of strengthening very precisely what you would do with this nutritional client. Also, we can stimulate enzyme production by the device by giving simply an energetic blueprint or frequency, you might say, to increase hydrolyzing enzymes, thinking enzymes, breathing enzymes, etc., etc. All these little enzyme families are noted and cared for, first of all, with the frequencies in the machine, and secondly, with the idea of the remedies or whatever you recommend. Here now, looking at some of the issues, you might want to say, ooh, there's also some ideas regarding protein digestion. Well, if you're not breaking proteins down, Carla, via the protease enzyme, you're not having an amino acid spectrum. So right away now,
can I ask you a question?
Sure, yes,
just
go right.
to pause for just a second.
Please do.
What you just said, when you're talking about blueprinting, could I say take the supplement that we want to use and then install the frequency into that so that I can enhance the value of that? Is that what you're saying?
No. Actually, what you do is you go in here, for instance, now I'm just going to open the protein thing. Yeah. Now you're going to come in and say, okay, well, it's basically in the small intestine chymotrypsin area, there's a flaw, and then animal protein is your worst nemesis, sir or madam. So then you'd click Nutra-Energy Balance. You'd give. So
you're doing that by saying that it's by looking at the 113 or the 110. Is that what? Is that how you're getting that information?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Now the rest of these are fine. So in other words, in this case now, this may be a little too low, but this is ideal. This is ideal. So what we do, we give the energetic blueprint of that idea first, and then we would give an actual supplement to carry on the work.
So the animal protein conversion is what you want to handle, and the aromatic peptides is what you want to handle. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and of course, as you probably know, Jake may have told you that there's a whole remedy repertoire in here that Dr. Nelson has created. Now, anybody can use any formulas they want to, but just to show you, for instance, I'll give you an idea here. If you go back to the test screen and you go into the combination doctor recommends, and then you'll see some things that this person is requesting. Now, we haven't gotten to the allergy areas yet, but if I went in there, you'd see the grain allergy as the most offensive allergen to this client. So in other words,
and you know that because the number is the highest, is that right? The 125 value?
Yeah, yes, dear. See where grain is just the very next thing here, next to fungi fusion?
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Are you saying that there's like a specific nutritional supplement line, or could we put our supplements that we have been working with and get them into your catalog?
Yeah, of course you can. Now, you can program them in yourself, or over a longer period of time, you would send the test kit of what you have to Budapest. Dr. Nelson would put those remedies in for you because, let me just show you a couple things here. So a couple different ways you could do it. If you go back to the top 40 items, you're going to find a couple other, let me see if I can just find one. Okay, now see this product right here, Thyroxol K12, that's a company called Apex Energetics. So in other words, there's probably about 12 different remedy companies in here. But again, since Dr. Nelson taught me to use his remedies 24 years ago, and they're made right here in Denver, I've used them on 40,000 people, I like those. You might like something else, and yes, you can. Now, let's just say you have something that's not in our test kit. Well, then you can go over to the homeopathic activation. You can type in women's vitamins. Sorry.
And Carla, this is the place I was sharing with you about getting a response or a quality control for individual reactions to supplements, right? This is where you would use the test tray and do a reactivity test on an individual product that, say, someone brings in the bushel of products, the basket full, so on.
So Carla, here for instance, dear, somebody brings in something from General Nutrition Center called women's vitamins. Okay, the test tray is now made out of gold and copper wiring. It gets fed into the biofeedback box. The frequency picture or the energetic blueprint or the fingerprint of that remedy gets bounced off the body electric, and here's how you do it. I'll just say, okay, let's test the reaction of that remedy, and then you'll find out. Now, this is a great service to people because so many people, I'm sure you know this, bring in just bushel baskets full of junky pills and capsules that are not doing their gut one bit of good. Okay, now for instance, here's a case where at this percentage, this crappy women's vitamin from GNC is actually causing irritation in this person's gut.
And how do you know that? What are you looking at?
See where my cursor is, where it's showing 17%? Okay, now a remedy would have to get up to the 80th percentile in resonance and, let's say, attractability would be a common word for it, before I or you would recommend that product to somebody.
I got it.
So,
okay.
Yeah, very handy. Very handy. And again, people bring in, when they first come in, you know, boulders full of this kind of stuff, you know, literally just bushel baskets full of these things, and 99% of them do not test well, namely because Dr. Nelson also realized that liquid nutrition, liquid homeopathy, is far superior to pill and capsule mentality. That's what the drug companies used many years ago to abate side effects from the drugs. So we really shouldn't be using that stuff. Okay, very good. Okay, now let's say we've done kind of our basic work there. We found some things to detoxify, rebuild the gut with, and actually improve nutrition. Well, then we can go to the biofeedback therapy programs, and we can say to ourselves, well, now, patient, I don't know what therapy that you need here because there's so many of them to choose from, so we'll let you choose which ones you want to do. Now, they have chosen to uplift their trivector signature to coordinate the voltage amperage resistance. So you just go in to here, and you put the electroculation boost on, and you start this trivector boosting therapy. Now, what it does, it improves the voltage, the amperage, and the resistance in this client. Namely because, again, one of these vectors usually, or all three, Carla, are in low gear and the battery needs recharging. So now, what does that do for you as a nutritionist? Well, for instance, anything else you do for them, whether it be a remedy or you refer them out to a chiropractor or whatever, this trivector field, because it's strong now, is the basic energetic launching pad for every other type of therapy that you would do. Metabolic repair, anti-aging, as I noted in your bio, etc. So this is an extremely important therapy. However, there's all kinds of them in here. There's scalar therapy, there's Rife frequency, the trivector, there's automatic meridian therapy, there's spinal therapy, all kinds of stuff in here. There's time therapies. Check this out. There's 24 different time therapies here. And again now, notice here, start autodigestive system therapy. So obviously a big part of what we do is nutrition, However, getting the stones out of the shoe, the nails out of the tire, and then rebuilding the gut, and then any nutritional recommendation, Carla, is much more effective. And usually in our case, liquid form, if possible.
I got it. Okay. There's so much commonality. I'm kind of grateful for that bioenergetic testing that I did in the past because I really understand what you're saying.
Yes.
So I like